Welcome to North Carolina Wine TV. I'm your co-host, Kip Bodner.
And I'm your other co-host, Jeff Cohen, and we're on the road in North Carolina's Yadkin Valley trying some North Carolina wine.
We're here at Sanders Ridge in Boonville, North Carolina. Sanders Ridge is a new winery, Jeff. Yeah. It opened in July, but a couple things to learn about. I was talking with the owners of Sanders Ridge, and they were telling me some things. Essentially, we're on property that their family has owned since the mid-1800s.
That's right.
So, very historic property. They've actually been growing grapes. They first planted in 2000. Vines kind of were established in 2002.
Right.
So, they've been growing grapes for a while and selling it to other vineyards and other wineries. So, even though they're a new winery, they're producing wines, a lot of which are coming from mature vines, which is, I think, an important distinction for them across some of the other new wineries.
Right, especially being a new winery. The wine that we're trying, it's a 2007 vintage, and the grapes, some of the grapes have been here, not the grapes, some of the vines have been here since
2002.
That's right, 2002.
Getting established, getting up in age, takes a vine, 5 to 7 years to start maturing. So just to keep that in mind, a couple other things about Sanders Ridge. This is the first show we've done about any of their wines because they are so new. They have an awesome facility, cabin out with a lake, really, really nice place.
Right.
They also have an organic farm to fork restaurant here, which is really unique. They source all of their vegetables from an organic farm. They've got, cattle and everything that they're raising. They're sourcing all of their own food products. So a really interesting combination winery and restaurant here at Sanders Ridge. So definitely one of the more interesting places we visited in terms of differentiating themselves from a lot of the other wineries in North Carolina.
That's right, and we'll post a link with this video to some pictures, and you can see what Sanders Ridge looks like. They actually built this fantastic building, and all the wood inside and outside, the beams and the siding, all came from the property, which is really neat.
It's really impressive. It took them like 4 years to build this place. They said it is very, very impressive, very beautiful. Go over, check out our Facebook page down here, Twitter page down here. There'll be links to pictures, and Jeff will also put a link to a lot of the pictures below in this post, which also means below in this post, you need to leave us some comments. Have you been to Sanders Ridge is right down the street from Rag-Appalachian. So have you been to Rag-Appalachian? Do you plan to come to Sanders Ridge? Leave a comment. Let us know. Let's get right into the wine, Jeff.
Okay, sure.
Guys, we are trying the Sanders Ridge Vineyards and Winery Bold. It says in the winery. It's Big Woods Red. It's their 2007 red blend, and this is a Bordeaux style red blend. So traditionally Bordeaux blends are Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon, which is all in here.
Right.
But they differentiate themselves a little bit by there's a small splash of Syrah. About a barrel of Syrah went into this blend as well. So that's the kind of basically skews it to be a little bit more interesting of a red blend. Jeff, talk about the packaging real quick.
Well, the packaging is real nice.
I really like their labeling.
That's right. They have a real nice bold, says bold too, a real nice bold logo. The design is very contemporary, not too off-putting, not edgy, but just very contemporary, and would be something that, you see it on a shelf. It is different from a lot of other North Carolina
And they have a
wines.
nice description of the winery and the history of the winery. One more thing before we try this wine. He was basically saying, I was talking, and I said, why the winery? Why do all of this? And he basically said, there's been many generations who have used and farmed this farm, and he wanted more generations to do that. And his children are very much interested in the vineyard, interested in the winery, and so by creating this, it creates a legacy to keep his family involved on this land which their family has had for generations. So I think that's some really neat traditions to kind of hear as well.
And one of the things that I don't think we've talked about at all on North Carolina Wine TV is one of the reasons that the North Carolina wine industry is growing so much is there has been a transition of crops from tobacco and other traditional North Carolina crops to grapes. That's right. So there's a lot of incentive for farmers looking for crops that they can grow that are profitable, and grapes certainly are one of them.
Okay, so we're going to get right into this. This bottle of wine is $16.
That's
Currently, distribution is only from the winery for Sanders Ridge wines. So you can order online or you call the winery, visit the winery. That's how you get these wines.
Yep.
You want to give this a smell?
Yeah.
I need to get it swirled. I wasn't getting a lot
to
begin with.
Swirling.
I gotta get my swirl action on. Okay, now it's coming through.
Yeah.
Big cherry flavor. Definitely some licorice happening.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely has a lot of the flavors that, or the smells that we're used to from Cabernet Sauvignon.
Red licorice coming through big on this.
Okay.
A lot of red licorice. Little earth, a little dustiness, a little earthiness, mushroom kind of component coming through here. So, so very interesting.
Yeah.
Want to give us a try?
Yeah, let's try it.
It's a bold wine. That is a bold wine. And
one of the things they say is that it goes great with food. It would.
This is a food
This
wine.
This is a food wine.
I'm going to tell you right now that a lot of people aren't going to like it on its own. It's because it's so bold.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of complexities there.
And a really long finish. Wow.
I mean, it's still going.
It's still going. It's still going.
And so let's talk a little bit about what we're getting sans food, because again, this would be a great food wine. Steak, venison, hearty, rigatoni, like tomato sauces. I mean, this needs some substantial flavor to kind of offset this. But by its own,
and they have a restaurant.
They do have a restaurant. So I can see this being a big hit in the restaurant. That is just a bold wine.
Yeah.
I mean,
with a really, really long finish.
That is just, it's a bold wine that is not thick. So the body of this wine is completely medium body. Completely medium bottom. But once you finish this wine, it is just, this is a food wine.
Yep.
For a lot of people, they're going to want food to go with it because it is so big and so bold. I like it a lot because I like wines of this style, and there's a lot of flavor going on.
Right.
It starts out with some cherry, some strawberry, some red fruit, but then the finish is just,
it keeps going. I'm going to call this the Energizer Bunny finish.
I mean, let's put it this way. While Jeff was talking, while I've been talking here, after you saw I drank the wine about 30 seconds ago, bacon fat, chocolate, espresso, some asparagus, some green beans, lots of flavors just coming through on that finish.
And if you've watched any episodes, you'll know that if the words chocolate and bacon come out of his mouth, he is all over this wine.
I mean, this is great rounded tannins that are sitting right in the back corner of your mouth. They're not too over the top.
Yeah.
This is not a wine I'd age for a long time, but definitely a wine that could stay for a couple of years in the bottle and maybe mature and get a little bit better. It's still a little young wine. It could round out even a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'd almost like to try it again in a year or two. But this wine bringing serious flavor and a serious delicious factor for me.
That's right. And it even says on the label that it's bold. And what I really like about it is big, bold flavor in a medium body wine.
It's a medium body wine. It's not sweet. It's 100% dry.
Yeah.
It is bringing the boldness like no other wine we've had from North Carolina.
Yeah.
There's spice going on. There's black pepper. There's clove. There's a lot of stuff happening in this wine.
Right, and that's some of the Syrah contributing a little bit of those flavors.
I think I love that they put Syrah in this.
Yeah.
I think the Syrah probably makes this wine for me. Where do we sit from a rating standpoint? I'm 4.5.
Yeah, I think 4 to 4.5 that's absolutely where this wine is.
So at $16, this big, bold, really good wine.
Yeah.
Where does it sit for you?
I think we can go 4.5. I think it's.
I'm comfortable with that. It is definitely worth 4.5 rating. Definitely worth, between the ambiance and the quality of wine with the Big Woods, trip out to Sanders Ridge. And this is a great start.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing left to do but to close it out.
That sounds great. Here's to the Old North State.